There we go. Dorian is wrestling with OBS. There we go. There we go. I hear myself. Echo, see? There we go. All right, well, I was just doing a test. Oh, I gotta shut my door. Give me 1 second. Dorian is wrestling with OBS. I hear myself. Echo, see? There we go. Do you hear yourself okay? Let me I hear you, but I don't think they hear you. Yeah. So, I don't know why. I might have to do one small tweak. So how's everyone doing? I don't want to stop presenting to everybody. I don't want to present you to everybody. I want to present... I'm messing... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm making this all way more confusing than it has to be. That she can't hear you. Alright, well, I'm going to fix that in just 1 second. I'm going to change your cable output to B. And then I'm going to go into my voice meter and change that to cable up. And now talk. Well, all I did right now is everyone, this is what I plan to work on when everybody's away and stuff, like when we're away for our stuff. You can talk now because every time you talk, you have your own special little voice box right here.
Yay, my own little special voice box. but I do hear an echo.
You hear an echo?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, give me 1 second to figure out that echo.
All right.
And you're right on top of the Holy Blood, Holy Grail thing there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so... Whoop, whoop, why won't you move? Yeah, so all I had to do was give you your own special little voice box. And then I just...
Now I talk. Oh, actually, there's a delay. Never mind.
There's a what?
Nothing. I was going to say, when I talk, I don't see the meter on the live feed, but then there's a delay, so I'm not going to see it.
Well, what I can do to try to get rid of yours is just go in and... Yeah, so all I had to do was give you your own special voice box. I don't know if I can mute you on there or what. Damn it. So if you just want to give people a quick announcement, the very important announcement quickly, and I'll fix your audio.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so the announcement is that we're going to take a break for about 3 months. So we'll be back in September. We're going to go ahead and have this show, but just to let you know, we're just going to be taking a little break for about 3 months just to focus on stuff that's going on in our individual lives, and then kind of come back and probably slightly reformat the show a little bit. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with it, but we're just going to take a break from it for right now, because I know Loki has some stuff and I have some stuff I need to focus on. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking a break for about 3 months. So what is this, June? So June, July, August, September. So probably in September we'll start up again. So that is the big news.
Yeah, the big news, unfortunately. We're gonna be taking a little break, a quality break though, not just like a little dump or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah. And so just kind of figure out where we're going to go. I mean, originally when myself and Mad created this, we kind of, I mean, there was really no plan. We sort of just slapped it together and we were going to see where it went. And then I know Mad had some personal stuff going on in his life, and Loki joined us before that. But it was just kind of, it was sort of not really formed to what it was going to be. And then Matt kind of dropped out, and then Dorian was kind enough to join to fill Mad's spot. So I was excited about that. But it still sort of didn't really go anywhere. And I really wanted it to be a joint effort, like we're all very involved. And get guests on and stuff like that. Um, sometimes it's difficult for people to do that, to find guests all the time and stuff. So, I mean, it just kind of gives us an opportunity to step back, and I'm sure Dorian and Loki and myself will meet offline and just kind of figure out what we want to do, where we want this to go. I don't want this to be my show. I don't want it to be Dorian's show. I don't want it to be Loki's show. I want it to be our show. That was my intention. I didn't. I mean, I'll try to say this as nice as I possibly can, but I felt like everything was sort of put onto myself and Dorian, and it just kind of it's been difficult, so each one of us needs to take responsibility, needs to take the reins of this show to get it to be what it is. And understandably, Loki has stuff going on in her life, so it's not like she's slacking off, but she has stuff going on. She has to move. And so anyhow, so all of that set aside, we're going to be coming back with hopefully a bigger, better show and a little more direction than just, playing videos, and I mean, which is okay. And game night's very fun. Maybe we'll still do that on occasion. But anyhow, that's the big news. So what do you think about that, Dorian? Oh, hopefully is your audio working?
Sorry, I hit the mute button because I was moving stuff around here.
Okay.
It sounds like a good idea because, as you guys can tell, I'm still working on stuff here. Like, I got so much stuff running in the background here. Like, I got different audio programs here. I got stuff rerouting all over the place, and I just want to be able to make sure that I can give stuff like old school drunken peasant style and stuff like that, where everything ran nice. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I like to be a good host. So
yeah, and if you guys in the chat, if you have any suggestions, like, because this is, we're creating this show for you, really. I mean, we still want to do our own thing, but we also want it to be entertaining. And so let us know what aspects of the show that you like, what you may think might be good to include. We're open to that. We always want to have feedback between ourselves and our chat, because that's, if we did this on our own, I mean, yeah, it'd be fun, but we really do this for our audience. So we definitely want to get feedback from you. Let us know if you have any ideas about stuff. And we also still want to have guests on too, and so let's see, to be honest, I really enjoy it. Okay, well, thank you, Armia. So Armia says that she really enjoys the current format. Okay, good.
yeah, because one thing I heard from people before, like I've even shown this to my friends and family, is the original format that we do have. Some people get confused, like when we're talking over videos and all they see is the video and stuff like that. And that's kind of stuff I want to try to improve also, like maybe figure out more of this OBS, because that's all I'm running here is... So I'm going to move that over here. Like, I'm just running all of this in OBS. Like, everything here, all this small stuff. I even have like a little like pause display and everything. So
So what was the feedback you got? Was that okay? So like when we're playing a video, people don't understand that we're talking over the video.
yeah, like people would like I'd get my friends to watch and stuff like that, and they might jump in at a point where it's already in the video, but we have screen share, and screen share says like means when we show the video, you can't see who's talking and stuff like that. All they see is the video, and there's our dialogue over top. And some people found that just a little bit confusing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that's something that we can work on. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much the big announcement. So I mean, yeah, so yeah, we're gonna take a little break for a while, but I think it'll be good because it'll give us an opportunity, like Dorian was talking about, to sort of address some of these little things that aren't a huge deal, but still you kind of want to improve. It's like the old axiom: if you're, maybe you're not going backwards, but if you're standing still, you're not going anywhere. And I want this to sort of keep moving forward and improving. And I think it's getting to a point where it's kind of stagnating, and that's not good. You want to keep moving forward. That's what you want to do, because if you just stagnation is not good. It's you want to be moving forward.
Well, you don't want to dread being like, all right, it's Sunday. Let me throw a shirt on. My pants can wait, but let's get the show on the road. So.
Yes. Yeah, this will always be a pantsless show. Pants are always optional, and that goes for the chat room too.
Well, I know one of our members is a security guard, so I hope he's wearing pants. So.
Well, if he doesn't have to stand up very much, you might be able to get away with it. But I don't recommend taking your pants off in public. That's a good way to get into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure what the transit system's like over there, but I know here in cold Alberta, I've seen people try to get on the train without pants on, and it's not a pretty sight. So.
Yeah, no, we have San Francisco has a pretty large homeless population, and most of the homeless are mentally disabled people who can't take care of themselves, but they're not violent, and so they're not like kept in a place where they can receive help. So a lot of them end up out on the street, and yeah, it's rough. So we get those people coming onto buses, and sometimes they really smell bad because they haven't showered in a long time. And yeah, so we have sort of the similar problems, but luckily they're always wearing pants. So.
Well, since we have our chat window up and stuff like that, we should get people in the chat to tell us some of their funny transit stories and stuff like that too. So.
Yes. Yes. If you have any funny transit stories, let us know. But I got to talk to so recently, okay, so what happened last week? So just so you all know, I think Dorian was playing a game, and he kicked me from the show.
Yeah. And
I was wondering, because when he kicked me, it said, "You have been removed by Heathen Haven. You cannot rejoin." And so I was like, "What the fuck?" And so I was trying to figure out. So I tried to rejoin. It wouldn't let me rejoin, and it seemed like a couple of minutes, but it was probably more like 30 seconds. So I got concerned, and I logged out. And I logged back in, and all this stuff. And by the time I got around to finding out that what had happened, I was like, all right, fuck it. I don't, Loki had contacted me through a text message, and I was like, I'm just like, no, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated with this, but with that last week. So just so you all know what had happened. And then my computer started acting up, and I got this phishing scam email from somebody, which I just realized I deleted, but I was going to share it with you. This guy says that they had captured my webcam and that I was surfing porno, and they were going to like release this information to like my my contacts and my email because they had it. And so I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out about that. I go, they captured my webcam and they were trying to get $300 out of me. They wanted me to send through Bitcoin. And so I was like concerned about this. So I was like, okay, so what the fuck is going on? Somebody's hacking my computer. They're hacking my, so I was like, that's what was going through my mind. And then it dawned on me, and I said, wait a second. When was the last time I watched a porno? And I go, wait a second. The last time I watched a porno was like a year ago. And I was like, okay, so what the fuck? And then they sent it to my Lilocan email. And I was like, wait a second. I never put my email. There was no like box that opened up. There was no email that I had put in there. So I was like, this is fishy. So I found out, I did a little Google search, and apparently it's just like a scam that people send out to people. So it was just a random email that came to me. I didn't, but I was like, it was just confusing.
I got a funny story like that kind of too. I like to stream. I like to stream anime and movies online because I don't like to pay for a lot of stuff. I know it's like modern day whatever, but I had one. They bricked my computer, but in a very easy way for me to unbrick it. And they're like, "We are the RCMP. We know that you are watching this kind of illegal porno. Send us $500 in whatever and stuff like that." And it was just hilarious. Like they were pretending to be the RCMP, which obviously people must have fallen for, and they try to lock my computer. And all I was trying to do was just watch some simple anime and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, let me just do a couple button presses here, boop boop, all right, and I'm free. But they're crafty, like they'll get you.
Yeah, but no, this was just some phishing scam because I looked it up. You know, they send these emails out, and they give you 24 hours. So what they do is they hope that you're going to read this email. You're going to go, oh shit, you know, I don't want this film of me jerking off, you know, being spread around the internet. And so, all right, so all of you are going to know how depraved and disgusting of a person I actually am right here, but I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I read this email and I looked at my contact list and I was like, I don't fucking care if any of these people know that I'm jerking off. I was like, okay, everybody does it, you know, no big deal, you know. And so I was like looking through my contacts. I go, okay, I don't care if any of these people get like a film of me jerking off. I mean, they're probably just going to delete it anyway. So.
Here's the thing too: if people are worried at home, just take some electrical tape. Like if you're on your tablet or your laptop or whatever, just cover it up. There you go. Problem solved.
There you go. Yeah, but no, they never actually hacked my my webcam or anything like that. It was just bullshit. It's just so funny. So I almost sent them an email back like, "Go ahead, do it." But then I was like, "No, I don't even want to," because I was thinking like, okay, maybe that's what they want me to do. So I was like, "Fuck it." So I just deleted the email. But it was just so funny.
Go ahead. I don't care if my coworkers know I watch midget clown porn. Go for it.
No, because everybody in my contacts, I was like, okay, I have family, and then I have some close friends, and it's like that's it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I have like, you know, like my boss isn't in there, my landlord's in there, but you know, I just didn't care at that point. I was just like, okay, fuck it. If they send this video to like a bunch of people I know, it's like I don't care. It's like that little bit of embarrassment. it's not gonna last for very long. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just trying to think right now. Like I know I have my dad's work email, and maybe one of my friends' email. That's it. And I have like 6 different email addresses, all for different reasons. But I only have 2 people's emails.
Because they were probably assuming that I'm like, you know, married and, you know, this stuff, and so like they were going to try to blackmail me, you know, that it wouldn't be released to my wife. But it's like, I'm not married, you know. I have a girlfriend, but she doesn't fucking care.
Well, everyone knows that you're this outstanding Christian family man who preaches family morals and stuff like that. So
I mean, it's one of those things. Everybody does it, but nobody really. I mean, you don't want to see that. But anyhow. So just to let you know what had happened last week, there was a series of weird events that happened, especially around my computer, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I ended up having to. I did a full virus scan and reinstalled a bunch of stuff, and so anyhow. But I don't know if you've heard about this, Dorian, but have you heard about this supposed um, sex trafficking camp in Tucson, Arizona?
I actually haven't heard about that. No. Is that like
Okay.
Pizzagate 2.0, or is this something real?
No, so what it is there's this, it's a homeless camp that they found in Tucson, Arizona, off of I-19, which is a pretty busy freeway that goes through Tucson. And these veterans, they go on patrol and they look for homeless vets and try to talk to them. And I don't know what else they do. Maybe they try to take them back to church and convert them or give them a meal or something. I don't know what they exactly do, but they came across this camp, and they 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 found like these little straps that are onto trees, and they assumed because of that they were like people were being trafficked through this camp and being tied up to these trees. But they also filmed the stuff of where there were like little these straps were nailed into the tree, but there was a bar that went through the strap, like to hang like clothes or a divider or whatever. So I mean, it was a pretty sophisticated homeless camp. um, and they had found a stroller there, and they found like a Playboy, and they found like some used condoms or whatever. So what jumps into their mind is that this was for trafficking, like human trafficking. But I mean, it was a homeless camp. Um, it was just bizarre. So that's like the latest conspiracy. And then they actually did find a human skull, which was kind of disturbing. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. About I don't know how far away, but like maybe a half a mile from that camp. So that's really disturbing, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. Uh, but yeah, so this whole the homeless camp is just a homeless camp. There's nothing to it, but finding human remains is rather disturbing. So I'm hoping that maybe some cold case that might have been closed a while ago could be reopened and possibly solved. So one good thing came out of it.
Well, that's good at least.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I messed up your. Oh, there you go. Your face is back. Just trying to make sure you're like. Do you still hear the echo when you talk?
No, actually, I don't. I don't hear an echo.
All right, that's good. I figured it out then. But homeless camps, though, man, lots of shady stuff goes on there. You don't know what's going to happen there. You got people who are on drugs. You got people who are just not mentally sound. You got people who maybe are just feeling very violent one day, and if it's out of the way, who knows what's going to happen there? The cops don't know. The average person probably doesn't know, and I don't know. It's pretty scary to think about, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, human trafficking is a very serious problem,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, it does happen. And I'm sure there probably are. I mean, it's a really disturbing thing. They had several busts here in San Francisco, but they were massage parlors. And what often happens is, especially in massage parlors, like in major cities, a lot of them are filled with women who are from Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, China, stuff like places like that. And what it is from their country, for example, let's say Thailand, is that they'll get an offer for a job in the U.S. and they have to come up with X amount of money, and then they have to come up with airplane ticket and all that, and then they say, "Oh, we're going to set you up with a job. You'll have a place to live. You don't have to worry about anything." And so these people, these ladies, will sometimes, talk to these people and then think that everything they're going to have this job in the USA. They come to the United States. They find out they're going to be working in a brothel. They take their passports from them, and they say, if you say anything, we're going to kill your parents in Thailand.
Yeah.
And they end up they have to pay for everything. They get charged for housing. They get to clothes. Everything's provided by these traffickers. So these people who come from Asia, maybe they came into this country illegally, so they don't want to go to the police. They're also told if they do go to the police, their parents, or their family back home will be hurt. And stuff like that happens. I mean, it's a really serious issue, but they're not going through a homeless camp in Tucson, Arizona. That's just not how human trafficking happens. And a lot of, I mean, I appreciate that a lot of these independent groups are going out trying to, trying to address these problems, but unfortunately, they end up distracting and pulling resources of the local police away from actual stuff that's going on. So, like, during the whole Tucson thing, this person was showing this feed on Facebook of this camp and talking about it, and so all these people were calling 911 in Tucson, Arizona, and so the police department was saying, like, look, please stop calling us. We're aware of it. We know what's going on. And, they were flooding the 911 system in Tucson, Arizona with all these calls about the same thing, especially when the guy on Facebook showed the human skull, which was really disturbing. But, stuff like that, it's like there are other crimes that happen in Tucson, Arizona. Like if someone is at that moment, they're like somebody's breaking into their home, they're witnessing a crime, and they're calling 911, and 911's system is overloaded, and they're getting a busy signal. I mean, that person could die.
Yeah.
If the police don't get to them in time or something like that. So yeah. So anyhow, but that's been the latest thing that happened in Tucson, Arizona. So if people ever do a Google search on it, you have a little more insight into what's going on.
Oh man, that's that is really crazy. Like, I actually never heard about that. It didn't make its way up here to at least to the news that I read and watch. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's yeah. I don't think I'm really curious to find out what happens when they do the DNA testing for for the human for the skull that was found, to find out who it was, because there's a lot of cold cases of people that just go missing and they never, they never find what happened to the person. They never find the body. They don't find anything, So I'm hoping that maybe this will be a cold case that'll be solved,
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's a cold case that needs to be solved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, I don't think a lot of people are hearing about it. But yeah, you can go on to Google Maps and you can see the area where it's at. It's on Highway I-19, which is an interstate, and West Virginia Avenue in Tucson, Arizona. So if you go to Google and you do maps and you type in like I-19 West Virginia Avenue, you'll see the location. It's kind of it's a place that's sort of out of the way. It's a little forested area, but it's right next to a freeway, like a very busy freeway. So no one's actually going to be like, what they believe is that people are being smuggled through that camp from Mexico into the United States. And, I highly doubt that. Maybe people are using that camp, like they came through the border. Maybe they camped there. Maybe they did use that as a camp, but then they're going into the United States, which is another reason of why we sort of need that wall between the border of the United States and Mexico. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but I think it's about time that we did something about the illegal immigration that happens so much in the United States.
I still remember during your guys' election, you had that one politician. I can't remember his name, but he also suggested building a wall between Canada and the United States. And I was just thinking, I was just like, huh. Okay, but you're the ones having all the lefties say that you're going to migrate to Canada. So, are you trying to keep them in, or what's going on here, buddy? So,
I don't think a lot of Canadians illegally cross the border. I mean, I could be mistaken, but I don't think that's a big deal.
Well, I know your guys' cigarettes are like tobacco's cheap, but that's about it. So, our alcohol tastes better.
Come across the border and get the cigarettes and go back.
That's actually a very common thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was on site one day, and a guy would go to the States about once a month, buy a crap ton of cigarettes for cheap, and double the price and sell them back here. So.
Yeah, but the thing with Mexico is a lot of the drug cartels, they're just using it to get people to, to come here and deal drugs. And yeah, so I mean, I'm all for it. I'm really all for it. I think it's actually very good. And one of the reasons, and I think I've talked about this before, but one of the reasons is that I'm for it is because there are so many people who take advantage of illegal immigrants that I know of that happens here in San Francisco. If you're an illegal immigrant, you don't have citizenship, you don't have the right to vote. If you want to buy a car, how are you going to get the money for it? If you get a job, you're going to get paid under the table. So that means that your employer can take advantage of you. Yeah. Probably don't have to pay you as much. Probably don't have to pay you health care. If you're also illegal, how are you going to get health care? Landlords take advantage of you. Criminals can take advantage of you because you're probably not going to get a bank account. You're probably going to keep all your money in a shoebox in your closet. So there's just a laundry list of reasons to immigrate to America legally. And it's not only for the best interest of the United States, as in, when you come to this country legally, you're going to be immunized, all of this various stuff. But also, you're not going to be taken advantage of by drug cartels, human trafficking, all that stuff. So the more I look into it, I I was the type of person a long time ago that I was like, we're all illegal immigrants here in America. Everybody come on in. But as I look deeper into it, I'm like, no, actually, it's not a good idea. Not something I should support.
Alrighty, well, that was our little banter there for a little while. Yes,
exactly.
I got a nice little selection of videos for people. I got a very special one for Mr. Hellbound Heathen for the very last video. Make sure you stay tuned for that.
Does it involve the word witch in a hat?
Yes.
Okay.
We got a Vigilant Christian Mario video. We got Anthony Bourdain ritually sacrificed by the satanic mainstream media.
That sounds about right.
And then we got a Flat Earth video. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Well, I wanted to make sure we had a good selection, because the way I have to capture audio and video now so that you guys can hear it is I have to route it through a third-party media player. So Windows 10 doesn't like you playing around with their software for some reason. Alrighty, so let me just get that video back up. So this is the Vigilant Christian Mario. Beyonce and JayZ, Holy Grail Decoded.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just close that quickly so I can get my stuff here. So here we go.
All right, hey everyone, it's
how's the volume
Mario,
level for everybody?
And you're here for a video I needed to make to go ahead and decode JayZ and Beyonce's new tour. As you can see, the performance starts with them performing their song Holy Grail as they descend on each side here of a cross. And many of you who are part of my audience might find that to be shocking. and rightfully so. We're talking about Beyonce, who vocally talked about Sasha Fierce and how Sasha Fierce is an energy that possesses her and gets her to act in these Jezebel bad girl kind of ways that she herself, Beyonce, would personally never feel comfortable performing as she's taken over. And Mr. I get possessed by the spirits himself, he said this. He said, I'm like Sinatra, getting possessed by the spirits. JayZ, Mr. Jehovah himself. And so this is very interesting, but I wanted to go ahead and make a video here to decode it, to show you what they're actually doing. Because once again, these Hollywood Satanists are mocking God. I mean, I did a lot of videos recently talking about Beyonce and these weird occurrences that are taking place. Someone in her entourage and her family buying a $850,000 church. And not that she organized it, but her fans did a Beyonce mass.
I just want to say that, especially in the States, there's a lot of churches for sale. So it's not really that surprising that a celebrity would buy a church just to say, like, I bought a church. Like, I just remember watching an Insane Clown Posse video where they did their whole music video inside an abandoned church. So when they go off the market, it's why not pick one up? Like, I know I'd buy one if I could. So
where they basically praised and worshipped in her honor. So some really creepy and strange things occurring. And now, well, here they are. The bad boy and bad girl couple themselves coming down. I mean, you know that's what they call themselves, the gangster couple. You know, Bonnie and Clyde, hip-hop's Bonnie and Clyde right here, right? So, bad boy and bad girl, well, what are they doing in front of the Holy Cross of Jesus Christ? Mocking it. There's no other way. And again, remember, this whole thing is about how he cheats on her, and it's about adultery because they're supposed to be a representation of good marriage. So many people aspire to be like them. Oh, I want to be like Beyonce and JayZ. Oh, I wish I could be so in love like them. No, their love is fake. It's a big joke. They are broken people. He's a Hollywood sellout who probably cheats on her left and right. Who even knows? She probably does the same thing. It's a big charade. I even did a video recently showing you how they use their relationship cheating as tags for their videos to promote themselves. This is a big mind play. It's theater, it's drama, it's Hollywood marketing to sell the naive.
I was like how he assumes those, like, they're celebrities, so they're cheating on each other. They're having sex. It's nasty. Here they are. Just look at that despicable act.
Fans who continue to eat up this garbage drama to suck money out of their pockets to keep fueling this couple who no one should be looking up to. Absolutely no one. Now, let's go ahead and decode this, okay? Notice here it says Holy Grail. Okay, that's the song chosen to come out with this whole cross theme. And while they sing about basically how broken and pathetic their marriage is. Now, I want to point something out here. Praise the Jehovah. Okay, you guys know that JayZ actually calls himself Jehovah. Now, pause for a moment. Let me explain something to you why that is so blasphemous. Do you know that the closest translation in English that you can get from the Bible to God's name is Jehovah? So for him to call himself Jehovah, that's blasphemy. That's him calling himself God. And then you have his buddy, his little protege, Jesus, for Jesus Christ. Yeah, I would never call him Jesus, guys, and when you do, that's blasphemy. And so these guys have no problem calling themselves God and elevating themselves to the level of godhood. And this is what I tell you with these Hollywood Satanists. They actually believe themselves to be God. Because when Satan deceives you, guess what is part of it? You're so delusional, you're so lost, you start to get a God complex and believe yourself to be...
Yeah, go ahead.
So, okay, so I hear an echo.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, he's obviously making a play on words of Jehovah and Jehovah. And I don't think he necessarily thinks himself, I mean, I don't know. Some of these rich people, I mean, they're so fucking rich, they probably do think of themselves as gods. I mean, I don't think people realize how much fucking money some of these people have, especially Jay-Z and Beyonce. I mean, they could buy a car every hour if they really wanted to. I mean, they have so much money. It's ridiculous. But anyhow, I don't really think that he thinks of himself as like a god. I think he's doing that. He's probably not very religious, and he's just playing around with it. You know, it's really funny that they say that there's this occult conspiracy or something like that going on in Hollywood. It's like, what is the proof for it? The only proof they have is all this very anecdotal evidence, and they always accuse it being the occult, but the people who make the accusations have absolutely no fucking idea what the occult is. And if anything, what they're actually talking about is pop culture occultism, like what they believe and what they're projecting onto it. But it's never accurate. It's never true. And I know that some of these famous people are just fucking with the press, because they'll flash up like this Illuminati pyramid with their hand signs and all this stuff, and they're obviously playing off of the idiots who believe this nonsense. You know, I mean, it's blatant that they're playing with them. It's hilarious. Anyhow, I'm done.
Well, I just find it funny too, because what the heck am I trying to say here? Nobody would actually expect these guys to really believe, when they say they're gods, for them to be gods. And for someone to believe that they are gods... Oh, sorry, I got my volume on. And for someone to actually believe that in the first place, there's probably something a little wrong with them in the head, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last thing I would expect is for another mere mortal to be the Messiah. Like, to be the chosen one, to be the living Buddha and stuff like that. Like, especially if they go around, like, talking about killing people, so... I think he's just doing this just because he can, so...
Who said that?
No, like, the stuff that Mario's like saying and stuff like that is like, these people call themselves gods and stuff like that, and... I don't know, just trying to... I see, okay. I'm trying to picture it in his head, like... Why even make a video about this? You know they're not gods. People know they're not gods.
Right, yeah.
It's just an act. They're actors and stuff like that. They gotta maintain their image, because there's a new person every 5 minutes who's gonna be famous, so...
Yeah, I mean, Christians are very famous for, oh, we're being persecuted, oh, it's horrible. And this whole victim persecution complex is, it, you know, there's a great deal of dishonesty in that.
Yeah.
There are people who are persecuted, you know, who are persecuted. Christians do they are very highly persecuted in other countries, like, for example, in Africa, and in the Middle East, where they're persecuted by Muslims. But here in America, we're not persecuting Christians. You know, they're not suffering persecution. They're the dominant religion, and even...
Give me 1 second. I messed up. I meant to do soft route and accidentally hit hard route. Give me 1 second. So the one thing I did that I messed up, Hellbound will be right back, is this new audio software I have. I have to be very careful how I use it, because it is a little weird, which is why we're also taking the 2-month break. Well, pretty much almost 3 months, I guess. Let me just jump in here. Boop. Oh, wrong person. I gotta jump in as Heathen Haven. There we go. And I'm in. Sorry, man. I'm back. You're back.
Okay.
Yeah, I hit hard route instead of soft route. Dumb mistake on my part.
Oh.
Yeah. So you went all quiet again. So.
Do you hear me now?
Yep. I hear you now, and you should be back in the chat. Yeah, you're back here. So.
Okay.
I'm opening up a new video because we pretty much got to the juicy bits of that last video. So, Open with VLC. So the chat, like, everyone can still see you, so. This one is exposing sodomites, what is it? Blah, blah, blah.
So that was the extent of that JayZ Beyonce video?
Yeah, that they're calling themselves the Messiah and stuff like that. They're pretty much saying that they're the new gods and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I got exposing sodomite rituals in Hollywood. So you want to be famous, watch this first. Yeah. Do you want to be famous?
Do I?
Yeah.
Not really. I'd like to make the money that they make, but without the fame.
Yeah. All right, route, soft route. That's what I forgot to do. All right. So what would you do if you were famous? Like if you won like $5 million?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I would go traveling.
Traveling, really?
Yep, I would go traveling and just live in hotels, and yeah, I'd travel for as long as I possibly could. And I would put a good chunk of that money into a bank account so that it accrued interest.
Oh, nice. So you'd be doing the smart thing then, long term and short term. Alrighty, so here we go.
That he that cometh to God must come believing that he is.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashriel King. And what I want to talk with you guys today about is Hollywood. And for those of you who still hold these actresses, these superstars, in such high esteem, because it says in the Bible, what is highly esteemed amongst men
is that the guy talking?
Is an abomination
Do you not hear the guy
unto
talking?
God, right? Whatever man esteems.
No, I do hear him, but the audio is out of sync.
The audio's not in sync.
But I mean, is this the guy who's talking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. I'll try to get it back in sync. Just give me a couple seconds here.
Says is great, it's wonderful.
I think
God
it might
says
be the video, not you.
it's an abomination unto me, right? Sickening in my eyes. And this is just a little video which I'm going to show you guys. I'm assuming the person who is speaking is a Hollywood insider, right? I have no idea who he is, but it coincides with what I believe. And it's not hard for me to believe it's true, right? Because from my own research as a New Ager into Satanism and all that sort of stuff and the occult, I believe, yeah, there's a lot of truth in this video, but you'll see and judge it for yourself, right? Because after receiving this information myself...
So just like Vigilant Christian Mario, this guy was a New Ager at one time. So he's going to use his personal experience to show us the satanic ways of Hollywood.
Of course.
Actually, one thing I want to ask people while they're here, would you like us to leave our video links that we find in like the description down below or anything? That's one thing I've often wondered.
Ah, that's a good point.
Because for me, it would only take about like maybe 10 seconds and stuff like that. So, like, just open up Microsoft Word or Notepad, copy the links, and after the end of the show, just put all the links in the description. So.
Yeah. In case people wanted to go back and watch them on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Maybe we should do that.
All right, back to the video.
I can no longer look at these stars in the same way. Even when I came to Christ, I could no longer look at Hollywood, right, as the same thing. It's not. It's just full of Satanists. Your favorite actor, who you've been loving your entire life, who says he's a Christian, is basically a Satanist at heart. But you'll see. God bless.
You know, this, I don't, it's so ridiculous. I mean, I don't think there's anyone who's in Hollywood who's, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there probably are, like, you know, people who maybe are members of the Church of Satan in Hollywood, but for the most part, I don't think actors are like actual Satanists, like they actually believe in Satan and worship Satan. I think that that's complete bullshit. You know, maybe they're sort of semi-religious, like the majority of Americans are, who call themselves Christian or Catholic or whatever. They're Christians sort of like in name. Maybe they go to church every so often. Maybe they believe in God. Maybe they even pray to God, but they're not like, they're not like following the Bible to the T. But they're not Satanist. It's just so ridiculous.
Show y'all just because they looking good and it looks like it's glamour. It's not like that. This is all about rituals, demons.
All right, so what he's going to do now is he's going to have a couple photos and stuff pop up with some audio stuff in the background, just so you guys know. That's all we've got to see of the pretty face.
Babylonian gods and screwing a man in his ass. You get in the music industry, they start taking you on these crazy party trips, and it's called the Pandora box. And while it's called the Pandora box, it's called because everybody that's like a masquerade, and sometimes they don't have masks on, but sometimes they do. And you have I've said this in many of my blogs before, but let's just bring it up to par, right? They have masks on, they have androgynous there, they have she-he's, they have women dressed like men. I mean, you name it, it's there. And it's all the top Hollywood actors, models, singers, hip-hoppers, you name it, is there. And they could be dressed in a disguise. So she was exposed to that. My God, I can't believe that. I can't be a part of that. Oh, what you mean you can?
Yeah, but the idea of a masquerade ball goes way back to Renaissance times. It was very popular for some of these very wealthy, noble types or just famous merchants or whatever to have these masquerade balls where they would go and they would wear masks, and it was a ball. And so the same thing carried over into Hollywood. And sometimes it'll be themed. Like you'll often see in one of these conspiracy theories, they'll show like one of these masquerade balls with like a very famous mansion or a castle, and they'll say it's like Eyes Wide Shut, by Stanley Kubrick, but it's just a masquerade ball. There's nothing else going on there. They're not like sacrificing humans in the basement or anything. It's a masquerade ball, and they had this one ball where everybody was a painting. So there were people who were doing like I'm trying to, like Picasso and Rembrandt, and each person was trying to portray in their mask or in their costume a particular painting. So that's what they were doing. And people picked up on this, like going, see, they have these weird occult rituals in these secret locations. It's like, yes, there's secret locations because they don't want a bunch of people going there and filming them, Anyhow.
Well, the point he's going to try to make and stuff like that is Hollywood, you have to pretty much bend over and spread your butt cheeks and stuff like that to become famous. And that they go to these Hollywood parties so you don't know what director or what Hollywood Illuminati guy is going to screw you.
Well, I mean, to be fair, look at Harvey Weinstein. That sounds like what he was doing. He was like, he would see an attractive young actress, and he would say, hey, you want to become famous? I'm a big Hollywood producer and all this stuff, and why don't you come up to my room and we'll share a bottle of wine and talk, and next thing you know, he's, whacking off in front of him.
Yeah.
So to a certain degree, I believe that does happen, that people are put into positions where they probably are have to possibly do something for somebody. There's been rumors of that, casting couches, and I think everybody sort of heard about that, but never really knew if it was actually going on, but now that Harvey Weinstein has been busted, yeah, that actually was happening. And you know, I mean, if you're a young and aspiring actress, and here's this big, huge, powerful producer who can make, you know, who can make and break you in an instant,
Yeah.
yeah, you probably are like it put into a position where maybe you're not having sex with this particular person, but maybe you're being put into a position where you're probably not comfortable with whatever he's doing, you know, in front of you. And you probably don't want to say anything because you're concerned that your career will be ruined. So yeah, so to that extent, I can understand that that happens.
Be a part of it. If you want your check, you want this Hollywood life, you would be a part of it, and you're not going to share these secrets. She thinks about that. She cried a little bit. They always cry, right? So she said, okay. She goes to this Pandora's box, androgynous owner, man owner, woman owner. That's nothing, right? She's thinking, I got that over with. So she didn't think it was nothing. She didn't really have to do nothing but men go kiss a little. She's used to kissing women. Here's the kicker. The three producers, the headliners, the guy who make Hollywood runs like it does, right, bring her to the upper penthouse tomorrow. So she thinking she getting ready to sign a contract. No, they want to pop her in her ass. And this is how they get down. They call it gravy.
If you do get hurt, well, that's just gravy.
Now, everybody, other people may know you from Gravy and your music career. Has this sparked the acting bug? Are we gonna see you in a lot more roles following this?
Yeah, definitely. This is my newfound love. Music is my passion, and you know, acting. I'm definitely getting ready to jump into it.
Okay.
That's a Hollywood slogan for people who just got popped in their behind.
Damn, he's got
well,
a
how did it go,
small
man?
ass.
How's your career going? Oh,
So here's where it gets the part where like even all the like male celebrities too have to bend over and stuff like that. So no matter if they're music, movies, television, or whatever.
I don't know about that. I mean, I honestly don't. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, it also kind of depends. Like, I mean, if you're pretty desperate, maybe you would do that. But I mean, for the most part, I think that most people, like, if you're a pretty famous musician and somebody calls you into their office and says, hey, I want to cut you a record deal and all this stuff, but oh, by the way, you're gonna have to bend over and take it in the ass, I think most of them be like, yeah, I don't think so.
Just like, you know what, Rob, I don't think I need that raise as much as I thought. So
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the rumor about Harvey Weinstein that has been going around for a long time, it permeated into other aspects of Hollywood, and so it became kind of like this, you know, quote unquote meme. Like the casting couch is a very famous meme. You can look it up in the Urban Dictionary, you know, what a casting couch is, and there's truth to that, but I don't know if every single producer in Hollywood is like doing that, and I don't think so. You know, I think the majority of record producers, people like that in Hollywood, they're in it for the money. That's all they're really concerned about. They're not trying to, you know, hook up with guys and or girls, you know. But people who might be higher power, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think that if there is stuff like that going on, shady stuff like that going on in Hollywood, I think it's going to be exposed soon, if not being exposed right now.
well, now's the time. Everyone is being exposed for everything. So
Yep.
why did you work that time? There we go.
I can tell you right now, baby, everything's gravy. There's been a lot of people that's got their letters on the fly, and they read all the literature. They have them in a nice little room or a sweet hotel. It's real elegant. They do it really nice, and they let you read that letter, and they tell you what you think. I ain't got no problem with this. Okay, sign right here. Now that's the beginning of the rituals of everything that's to come for you. All the doors gonna open for you. All the doors are opening. He ain't ready for what they're gonna hit him with. We want you to meet some friends, okay? I want you to take it personal. because we know that you're about your business and you know how to make that dollar. It's all business. Don't take it personal when you see what's up, right? They take them in this room, and there'd be 3-4 dudes.
Yeah.
And especially like a lot of these artists that are coming up today, a lot of them are going with record labels like what's that guy's name? Was it Dr. Dre? Yeah, Dr. Dre, and some other ones. Some of those rappers who introduced rapping to the mainstream, a lot of them created their own music. They created their own label. They created their own recording studios. So a lot of these up and coming artists are going through, for example, like Dr. Dre's, I forget the name of his company. I think it's like Mass Murder Records or something like that. They call it something. I think maybe somebody can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But those record labels and those recording studios are small recording studios, you know, compared to like Warner and some of the other ones that are around. And they were competing against these larger record companies. And so a lot of these small record companies, I don't think they're doing a casting couch. They're not doing the casting couch, at least for the artists. Unfortunately, maybe, and again, I'm just talking off the top of my head. Maybe if you want to be like a background dancer in one of these videos, possibly there is some kind of a casting couch situation there. That's a possibility. But as for the artists themselves, I don't think so, you know.
Yeah. All right, so do you think we should continue this video or move on to the next one? Because right now he's pretty much just going to repeat himself a little bit over and over. No, I mean, unless he says something that's really groundbreaking. I mean, all he's doing is just making the accusations, right? All he's doing is just making accusations. So yeah. So I mean, you can make accusations all you want. Alrighty, that's got too many windows open. My goodness, I got too many windows open. Take that, put it in the recycle bin. Recycle bin. Da-na-na. The next 3 videos. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. Like, now that the way I have everything set up. So, we got Flat Earth up next. Yay. Yeah, it looks good, Dorian. Thank you. Yeah, once it actually works, it looks good. You know, it really looks good. It will work. I'm working on it. Like, and then after, like when we come back and stuff like that from our little hiatus, everything will be purty, nice and purty. Yeah, well, I mean, it's getting all the software to work with each other because you have a lot going on. Yeah. Alrighty.
Hey everyone.
Oh, he's quiet. My word.
God made a flat earth.
Can you guys hear that?
It's
okay?
The center of creation. The sun, moon, and stars, and the clouds are inside the firmament. And there's waters above the firmament.
That's him shaking the
and
video,
then there's heaven with our Father God and our Lord Jesus Christ. I want people to get saved. I want people to wake up and know the truth of this world.
Yeah, they can hear it.
YouTube has a lot of trolls. It has a lot of people that spam my channel and other people's channels. Everyone knows what YouTube is like. People have big opinions, and they like to let people know about those opinions. I've been getting a lot of like trolls and spammers lately going on and on about how the Earth is a globe and they're holding on to the globe. They have just been told and taught about a globe from people that were misled. And their parents before their parents, and their parents before their parents. It's been a few generations at least of brainwashing, globe ball, earth wall.
Like when I was trying to watch this video before, I didn't know if he was like having his cell phone record from a PowerPoint presentation or what. Because you can tell here by the way he has the camera, like it's not even. Yeah. And stuff like that, like. Yeah, it's like he's filming. It's like he's filming his monitor. Yeah. And I was just trying to figure out. Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to say, the funniest thing about especially a lot of these conspiracy theorists is their projection.
they don't understand that the reason why people don't believe in the flat earth is not because they've been indoctrinated as much as the evidence is lacking, and whatever evidence there is complete. It's null. It's nothing. I mean, they figured out Aristotle. Let me see if I can pronounce this. Eratosthenes, I think I pronounced that correctly, figured out the curvature of the earth back in, like, what was it, 100 or 200 BCE. You know, they've known that the earth was round for the longest time. There's evidence for it. You can do it. You can have two people with a cell phone with a distance of like 10 miles apart at noon with sticks, and you can measure the shadow, and you can figure out that there's a curvature of the earth. So it's not that difficult. And the evidence that everybody has for flat earth is, oh, well, it looks like the ground is flat. And that's basically it. That is their entire argument. So if somebody doesn't believe the earth is flat, it's because your argument is crap. It's not because they've been indoctrinated. It's because you just don't have a strong argument.
The ironic part is too, like, you'd think one of these flat earthers might do like at least a GoFundMe to at least travel to like the North or South Pole to see the giant ice wall or edge of the dome and stuff like that. And I don't know, like, you could get a lot of money very easily, and none of them seem to do it. So
yeah, I mean, the easiest way is to by sticking a stick in the ground and measuring the shadow. I mean, that's how they did it, 2,200 years ago. Or wait, 2,200 years ago. That's how they did that, and you can figure it out. There's a calculation for the curvature of the earth, and you can, I did a video on this. You can create a laser pointer if you want to do this. You can actually measure the curvature of the earth. You can do it, but these people, they don't want to do that. They don't want to actually find out the truth. They want to hold on to their lie, and that's okay. I mean, if you want to hold on to a lie, that's up to you. If you want to do that. But if you actually want to find out the truth, sometimes you have to let go of things that you're holding on to, certain beliefs that you're holding on to, and I think people are afraid to let go of their beliefs, but sometimes you have to, so that you can grow and become more grounded, more rooted in reality.
Yeah.
Washing. There is no such thing as a globe except for the thing that's in classrooms and in movie theaters. There's no globe. It's imaginary. It's made up. It's a hoax. It's a lie. Why would they lie about that, huh? This guy has a Freemason, all-seeing eye tattoo. Freemasons worship Lucifer, the small g god of this world. People like celebrities, musicians, whatever. Bob Dylan talks about selling his soul, the guy's asking him, why do you keep doing what you're doing? Why do you keep playing music and whatever? And he says, I'm keeping up my bargain to the chief commander. And then he says, of this world. And then Bob Dylan says, this world and the world you can't see. And he's doing the one eye symbolism there because he worships Lucifer, the all-seeing eye. All of these people do the same thing, and it is not a coincidence. They're satanic.
How the hell did... Sorry, can you pause it for a second? How the hell did the eye, the all-seeing eye, the eye of providence, get wrapped up with the Illuminati? Because the Bavarian Illuminati, started by Adam Weishaupt in like the 17th century in Bavaria, there was never any association of the symbol of an eye in a pyramid. There was the owl of Minerva, but there was never, ever any Illuminati. There was like the traditional pyramid with the eye in it that you see on the dollar bill that everybody talks about, the Illuminati.
Yeah.
That was never in any of their, it wasn't part of their symbolism. So how the heck, I mean, I don't think anybody has the answer to this, but I just don't understand how that symbol got associated with them. if there was an actual symbol of the Illuminati, it should be the owl. So
yeah, you'd think from like the whole Bohemian Grove thing, hey, just
well, the Bohemian Grove, yeah, but I mean, all that is just like a men's club. It's just a way for rich politicians to get away from things. Now, the concern about that is that, yeah, they probably are, you know, planning and deciding, you know, they probably are like having little sort of like backroom conversations and stuff like that. You know, that's a little concerning. But as for like their whole cremation of care and all this stuff, I mean, it looks bizarre, but that's about the extent of it. You know, it's not even an actual ritual, you know.
I don't know, man. It has to be the Illuminati, you know.
Exactly. And also the Freemasons, they really, really hate the Freemasons. And that giant G that's supposed to represent God. It's supposed to represent the Godhead, or the Grand Architect, as they call it. Lucifer doesn't have anything to do with it. That whole Lucifer nonsense comes from a joke around Albert Pike, which actually a French magazine about the Freemasons, and it was a joke, and it got caught up, and people and now everybody believes that the Freemasons worship Lucifer, and that's all nonsense. That's a Taxil hoax. Anybody can look it up. Just type in Taxil hoax, Taxil, in Google, and you can find out about the Taxil hoax.
Alrighty.
Luciferian. Maybe some of them are Freemasons. If not, they're puppets of Freemasons and Luciferians that run this world. Only for a short time. We are in the end days, the last days, before God comes and judges and cleans this place up. You want to be right with God. I want you to be right with God. People that mock and scoff all the time, sometimes I have to laugh at it, but other times, deep down inside, I'm sad about it, because I want people to know the truth. I don't want to keep the flat earth and that God is real and all this to myself. I want to spread that knowledge and spread that awareness, and that's what I'm trying to do. In person, it doesn't work that well. On YouTube, I know brothers and sisters that, right, there's no coincidence that we're coming together. It's divine timing. We're all like, we know a checklist of things. The most important thing we know is that faith in God, faith in Jesus Christ is so real, and it's the only way. It's the only way to salvation. It's the only way to know truth. People in the truther community, if they don't speak of Jesus Christ, they're not in the full truth, because Jesus Christ is the truth. He really...
So even if you're a truther, if you don't believe in Jesus, you're not a truthing truther. You're a deceived truther.
Yeah, well, that's the funniest thing. It's like not even Christians are true Christians unless they meet certain criteria. So let's say, for example, you're somebody who believes in God. You believe in God, you believe in the Bible, you believe in the resurrection of Jesus, you believe you can be saved through Jesus. Even then, sometimes with some of these evangelical Christians or Orthodox Christians, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays, even then, you're not worthy enough, or you're not an actual Christian. Then you're still like worshiping Satan. So it's like their criteria for what you have to meet to be considered saved is just,
yeah,
it's like a goalpost that they just keep moving.
Like, I remember this one time, it was the Vigilant Christian versus some other Christian guy and stuff like that. And the only difference was the other Christian guy was a Seventh-day Adventist. And they were like going at each other and stuff like that for which version is true. And no, you're deceived. No, you're deceived. And it's just, if I didn't find that stuff amusing and stuff like that, I don't know. Sorry, I got way off track there. Let me continue.
No, yeah, it's like you can't, you just can't, you know, nothing is good enough for some of those people.
It's like a perpetual battle of, is this dress blue or gold, you know?
So, who's this? Oh, I thought this was a video. Raise a Village, or Severed Head, had just sent me a link, but it's not a video.
About urine therapy?
It's called not a video, a link to Time Cube.
Time Cube.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna play the video. You let me know what the Time Cube thing is.
All right.
It really is. This world, when Christians and anybody else talks about this world being gross, satanic, full of lies, full of deception, it is. Like satanic people and satanic forces and powers, dominions, all of that stuff, Satan has control. He has control. He's the prince of the power of the air. He never has more strength. He never has more power. He never has no more control than our Lord Jesus Christ. But we're in a battle for our souls every single day. We're supposed to equip the full armor of God, pray to be filled with the Holy Spirit. I do these things every day. It's important. Sometimes prayer is just talking to God. I do many types of prayer. I talk to our Lord. I talk to God when I need some comfort and direction in my life.
I'm gonna skip past
I
this
pray
part.
the Lord's Prayer in the world, control
really
in this world. You don't think like celebrities are just so much more talented than we are, so they get all this money and fame. We're worshiping them. I'm not, but a lot of people worship false idols called celebrities, musicians, whatever. An example, if I go on Facebook, I have a few friends that are Christian now, and they like to read quotes from the Bible. They like to read truth messages that they understand. The majority of my other friends on there from school, they post things like, oh, look what this celebrity said. Oh, Lady Gaga is really good, and she said this thing. You know what I mean, right? And they don't realize how duped they are. So they don't realize that celebrities are satanic. They worship Lucifer, and it's all in their face. That's what that hand sign stuff is about. They're rubbing it in their face who they worship, and we're too dumb to figure it out. You get eyes to see when you have faith in Jesus Christ. You do. It's so important. So people that, no, I don't need you to set you, oh, wow, I have been lied to. My family has been lied to. My friends have been lied to. The world is a big lie. There's way more deception going, so when you're going down the truth rabbit hole, you better strap in. You better have your faith strong, or else you will become lost and be thought of as completely crazy.
All right, so I see you posted a link to that Time Cube stuff, so does it actually seem pretty cool?
I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's not a video or anything. It's just, I mean, I actually posted it in the chat, so if people want to go and take a look at it, they can. So yeah, I mean, it's not really all that. I mean, yeah, it's something that people can look at on their own.
Okay.
It's not really something we need, but good thing you paused it, because one thing I wanted to say, I mean, I've said this before, everybody here probably knows it, but I mean, the whole character of Satan is just, it's a complete mistranslation. He's the adversary, so he's somebody who is opposed to belief, to, he was the accuser, he was the angel that sort of challenged mankind, and he's in complete control of God. So if God has a problem with Satan, God can eliminate Satan according to their own Bible, because God is all, omnipotent, all powerful, and everything. He created everything, including Satan. So God allows Satan to exist according to their Bible. So, Oh,
I hear you, man. But apparently Satan's all part of God's plan and whatever, so.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what they believe, and they need to understand the history of their Bible.
I can't remember, I'll try to find it and stuff like that, but it was the whole evolution of Satan and stuff like that, from being just a tempter, being a reporter to Jesus, a tempter, and then to this all-out bad guy, so.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he went through several important stages. One of them was in the Council of Nicaea, and then the last and final stage was with King James. King James really included the female aspect into evil, and saying that women were essentially the source and the root of all evil.
Yeah.
And not exactly in those words, but essentially.
All right, so this one right here is the Anthony Bourdain richly sacrificed by the satanic mainstream media.
Of course. I don't even know who Anthony Bourdain was.
I think he was a chef or something.
Okay. You know, there's 3,000 people who commit suicide every day.
Hey, everybody.
And although I think it's unfortunate when celebrities do, those other 2,999 people, we don't know their names. We don't know anything about them. And there's nothing special about people who are in Hollywood. Human life has equal value in my eyes, no matter if you're the president of the United States or a homeless person sleeping in a park. So yeah, it's a shame that Anthony Bourdain killed himself, but you know, there's 2,999 other people who killed themselves today, and you don't know any of those people's names.
Yeah.
Buddy, today is June 8th, 2018.
That's a little loud. Let me just
woke up to news this morning of the death of
we go.
the host of a show called Parts Unknown on CNN. His name is Anthony Bourdain. And despite showing no symptoms of anything like depression, no warning signs to any loved ones from what we can tell, apparently he just made the decision to kill himself. And this is a common thing, apparently, for celebrities. People who otherwise seem happy, wealthy, very well off, just randomly killing themselves one day. We saw this with Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington last year. You know, you couldn't find a picture without Chester Bennington smiling, it seemed, in his private life, but these are the stories we're told by the fake stream media. Now, what you need to understand about this fake stream media is that most of their news stories are coded by the numbers, and when I say that, I'm talking about the language of gematria as well as dates on the calendar as we will explore. And this is a very simple practice.
Let me pause that.
In fact,
you've heard of gematria before?
Gematria, yes. Yeah, there's several forms of gematria. There's Greek gematria, there's Latin gematria, there's obviously the Hebrew gematria is the one that most people are familiar with if you've ever studied any occult literature, or Aleister Crowley, or Kabbalah. But yeah, there's also Greek gematria, there's Latin gematria. I mean, you can I'm sure you could do it with other languages too. It's easy to do, but yeah, you convert letters to numbers.
So this is gonna be very, very number heavy then.
Yeah. And it looks like he has, I've never seen this type of gematria.
Yeah, apparently he's using an English one. English, reverse, full reduction, reverse, full reduction. I have no idea what I'm looking at in all honesty. Like, I can understand.
I'll bet you 10 to 1 what he's doing is he has to create it to fit a narrative, because a lot of the gematria, it started at 1, and 0 or 10 was 0 or 10. And so, for example, the Hebrew gematria, it goes from 1 to 10, and then it goes from 10 to 100, and then from 100 to 1,000. So, for example, if you wanted to do 666, it would be you would have one character that represents 600, another character that represents 60, and then another character that represented 6. So when you put those numbers together, it would be 666. Greek gematria, I'd have to look it up, but there's the Greek characters are converted to numbers, but again, it only goes up to, I think it only goes up to a certain number. I think it only goes up to 10 also, and also so is the Latin. And the reason why the Hebrew one is different is because they didn't have the Arabic numbers that we use today. They didn't use Roman numerals. They used their characters that they use for their letters, but in certain cases they could be converted to numbers. So I mean, there's like books, you can buy books on this, and it's it can get very complex, but once you kind of pick it up, you can just create a simple table and you'll understand how it works.
Okay. I'll take your word for it because right now this is over my head. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. We'll have to see what he's going to say about it.
It was difficult for me to accept this is what was happening because it's so simple. All you do is assign a number to each letter in the alphabet relative to its position in the order. You can also reverse the alphabetic order so that Z is 1, Y is 2, through A is 26.
That's not true.
Our standard reduction...
So he's using that then just to fit his method then?
Yeah, he's using that to fit his narrative. That's not traditional gematria.
Methods, meanwhile, reduce every double-digit number to a single digit using the rules of numerology.
That's true. You would do that.
And when you start to pay attention to the numbers behind the letters, behind the names, behind these phrases, you start to understand that something very strange is going on in this world. And Anthony Bourdain, as a host of a television series, this isn't much different than what the record industry is doing. Murdering its artists, releasing their albums on particular dates, all part of the numeric ritual of sacrifice. So let's start off with the gematria of the word suicide. Using the reverse alphabetic order, suicide equals 119.
Okay, that's not accurate. So what you would do, so for example, suicide, each one of these characters, let's go with Greek, let's go with the Latin gematria. So you would, each letter, like in suicide, would be converted to a number between 1 and 10, or excuse me, 1 and 9. So for example, S would be would be, oh crap, it would be either 2 or 7. It would, I think it would be 2 or 7, and U would be another number, and so you would get like a series of, for example, you would have 2, 6, 5, 4, 3, 8, and then you would add all those numbers up to, and it would come up to, it doesn't come up to 119. Let's say it comes up to like let's say it comes up to 119, but but this guy, there's a reason why he's choosing 119, because he's trying to, it's fitting a certain narrative of his. So you would add 1, 1, and 9. So you would take all of those numbers, you would add them up, but you would then reduce them down to a single digit between 1 and 9. So you would add 1 and 1, which is 2, and then you would add 2 plus 9, which would be 11, and then you would add 1 and 1, so that it would be 2. And you do this for, let's say, you could do this for a magical process, or like, let's say, sigil magic, or mostly for like sigil magic, or maybe if you are trying to write something and convert things to numbers, just to kind of maybe keep it hidden from other people who might read it. Like you could convert, it's a way of magical writing. We convert all letters into numbers. But for example, for sigil magic, you would associate that number with a particular planet. So like, let's say 2 would be, oh crap, what would 2 be?
Well, even just like right here, you can see where he's pulling stuff out of his bum. Because he's using reverse right here to get 119. So that's 1 to 26 and stuff like that. And then he's doing reverse full, and reverse full only goes from 1 to 9. So it breaks it all down.
Yeah. So, I mean, once you go beyond 10, it doesn't make any sense. It should only be 1 through 9, because that's what you want to ultimately have remaining, because you break it down to a single digit. So, for example, like people will pick a magical name. They will pick a magical name that corresponds to the number that their name corresponds to. So, for example, my name, Liloken, you would add up all those numbers. Let's say they add up to 83. So you would have 83, and you would add 8 plus 3, which would be 11, and then 1 and 1 would be 2. So you would create a magical name, for example, like morning dew that adds up to 2. And that would be your magical name because it adds up to the same number as your real name.
Yeah. Oh, this like, I can't wait to see where he goes. So.
Yeah.
This is interesting in light of the name of the man who is said to have committed suicide today, Anthony Michael Bourdain. Using the same method but reduced, his name also summing to 119. The name of the show that Anthony Bourdain hosted was called Parts Unknown, and this show still has a few episodes left to air for the end of season 11. Parts Unknown using the standard alphabetic order equals 186. And this is a significant number. The 186th prime number is 1109. And in numerology, it's important to note that in these results, you know, these zeros are ignored. So this number reflects another 119. So this show stamped with the numbers of suicide from the start. And there's more to this. The most recent series...
So shouldn't he be saying that his parents doomed him to suicide by naming him a numerology number for suicide? I love you, son. I love you so much. We're gonna doom you to suicide for when you're older. Here you go.
It's a fucking rabbit hole. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
I just love it though. It's like, so his show here equals 186, which equals 1109, but we subtract the 0 because you don't count the 0, which means suicide, suicide, suicide.
I mean, there is a process to it. There's a very specific process that you use for gematria. But I did just notice that the website that he's pulling this from is from gematrinator.com, and I don't know what the hell they're doing. They probably have some kind of, they probably expanded this to do whatever, but it doesn't have anything to do with traditional gematria.
I don't know. It might be a good episode for you to go on there and just have fun. So,
because it should break down to a number between 1 and 9.
Or season of the series, Parts Unknown. This is the 11th season. It debuted on April 29th, 2018. And April 29th on the calendar is the 119th day of the year. All of my work, by the way, verifiable at my website, www.gematrinator.com.
Oh, it's his website. That's why. I thought somebody, because there are websites where you can go and like convert things, and I thought that that's what this was, but no, it's something that he created. That's why it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, I'm not sure if our audience can see this, but right up by the website here, it says it is a not secure website. The website is not secure. It says so right up here.
It's not secure.
So go at it at your own risk. So you might be stealing your information.
I mean, most books, like most books you buy in the store they'll probably have the planetary hours in there. They'll also probably have gematria. I mean, it's not that complex. This guy's he's making it much more complex than it really is. It's very simple. You can write down the alphabet, you know, A through Z, and you write them across 1 through 9. So it'd be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And then the next line down, you would start again, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. That's why I was, you can't see me because I'm not on camera, but I was doing it on my fingertips. You can figure it out in your head if you just count 1 through 9 through the alphabet. You assign the characters that would fall under that particular, like A would fall under 1, so would J, and I think that's it, and then 2, whatever. But I mean, it's actually a very simple process. He's making it much more complex than it needs to be.
Well, maybe if he sounds more complex, he'll confuse us and he'll sound right. So,
yeah, I think that's what it is. I think a lot of these conspiracy nuts, they know a little bit about the occult but they don't know enough about it, and they're also hoping that the people, their audience, is not like, they just assume that the majority of Christians have no idea what actually happens in the occult or what it's actually about. And so they can just make up all of this shit, and people are going to go like, oh, okay, that's what they do. Oh, okay, sure, why not? No. Nobody actually looks into it to find out the truth.
The 119th day of the year. Also, this episode was called West Virginia. Also in the alphabetic order, West Virginia equals 156. This is another number connected to 119 and 911, its inverse. The 156th prime number is 911. In something called satanic gematria, which I'll explain in a second here, the term ritual human sacrifice equals 911. And I believe this has everything to do with why we're seeing this number.
So if you live in West Virginia, you are living in a ritual human sacrifice state because of satanic gematria.
Is that what he called it? Satanic gematria?
Yeah, it's even right here on the screen under his gematria categories, satanic gematria. And
there's no such thing as satanic gematria.
Well, he's the expert that owns the website, so.
So basically what this guy did was he created this whole numbering system to fit his own narrative.
Yeah. And he made his own website around it too, so he can be this expert at it.
I mean, it's so easy if the way to prove your point is to create nothing but straw men. You know.
Oh, this guy's amusing though. I'll send you the link to this video too. I'll try to put it in the chat. I just gotta remember where I found it.
Attributed in this ritual. Satanic gematria isn't meant to scare anyone. The phrase satanic gematria in this cipher equals 666. And this is because the cipher begins on the 36th letter, or this, I'm sorry, on A as 36, and 666 is the 36th triangular number, so it's a very cleverly built cipher. Moving on to the next point, looking at another somewhat significant form of gematria, septenary. And here the word death equals 23. And we're going to look at how this number was also coded into the death of Anthony Bourdain. First of all, Chef Anthony Bourdain equals 203 in the alphabetic order. Again, the 0 gets dropped. This reflects the number 23.
Okay, so even his profession. It's like this guy was, if this guy is telling the truth, this guy has been damned from the start.
It's all bullshit.
Oh, way to go, Anthony. We know you're going to commit suicide. Now become a chef so everyone knows that you want to be death.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Measuring from the date of his death.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing. I was just going to say, is there any way I can share my screen? Or is that too complex?
No, you should be able to. Go onto the left and go to screen share, then just give me a couple seconds to set it up from my end, and we should be able to do it.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. So let me know when it's when I can do that.
You get it. Oh, I just gotta shrink that a little bit. Just give me 1 second to make sure that the stream is showing up as you.
Okay.
Oh, gotta get off my porn. I gotta actually get onto Heathen Haven now.
Yes, get off your porn.
All right. Yeah. You are good to go, sir.
Okay. So, do you see it? You see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen.
Okay, hopefully the people in the chat do. Let's see. Yes, okay, good. All right, so this is, for example, this is how gematria works. So any letter that is A, J, or T, you can convert to a 1. BKU, convert to a 2, etc., etc. So if your name is, for example, LKI, I'm not going to do the full name just to make it easy. You would break that down to L, so that would be 3, A would be 1, I would be 9, and K would be 2. Whoops, not 23, 2. So it's always a number between 1 and 9. There's no 0, there's no 10. You would take these numbers and you would add them together. So you would, so you would take these numbers. See if I can remember how to do this. Okay, so anyhow, so you would add 3 plus 1, so 4 and 9, 13, plus 5 would be 15. So you would take 15, because it's a double-digit number. You don't want to have double digits. You want to have a single-digit number. So you would add 1 and 5 together, and you would have 6. So if you wanted to, during a sigil or in a magical, for whatever reason you wanted to convert characters into numbers, that's what you would do, is you would convert it to 6. Now, if you wanted to use this for divination purposes, you could take somebody's name and convert it down to a number. And depending upon what you believe in numerology, you would associate it with 6. So traditionally, for example, 6 is the number of completion plus the beginning of a new thing, because it's 6. That doesn't explain it very well. But anyhow, so you would convert the number, you would convert the letters to numbers, and 6 would be the essence of that particular word or that person. And so that's how you could use the number 6 to represent them in a sigil, let's say for good luck or prosperity or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I explain that well? Okay. All right. So that's it. That was the whole big presentation. But I just wanted to show what actual gematria is. And then how do I stop screen sharing?
There we go.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
We're back onto just the regular thing now. So actually, I like this little setup. If I can get this working with like 3 people in the next couple months and everything, I think it'd be a really cool thing. Like I can easily screen scene change and stuff like that any way I want. So I'm actually
it looks really good.
And then we'll just make it like maybe underneath underneath the chat there with a very small picture we'll put Loki's witch and stuff like that, just very small. Well, that's actually very interesting. Like this guy, the way he's doing it in his website just seemed very, very sketchy in a way. And the way that everything, like this Anthony Bourdain guy, just he can't seem to escape death the way this guy's doing it. Like his show equals death, his name equals death, his profession with his name equals death. It's just, my God.
I mean, yeah, I mean stuff like this happens in the world, and people want to find meaning for it, and so they go through this very complex thing. They don't want to, they just want to find a deeper meaning than there actually is to it.
Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. So
yeah, I mean, he just, for whatever reason, he decided to commit suicide.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Death today, June 8th, to the date of what would have been his next birthday, June 25th.
But hey, I don't think he's gonna get. Does this get any more complex? Or I mean, I don't really see this going anywhere.
No, it's just more of the.
Well, we only got 10 minutes left if you want to do that last video.
Oh, I can't wait for the last video. I just want to recycle that. I I can't wait for this one. Oh, wrong play engine. Yeah, like over the next 2 months, I can't wait to see what I can come up with. So, a 2-minute video.
Oh yeah, I mean this looks good.
All right, I just want to route the audio. Soft route.
So this is my very first video that I uploaded to YouTube.
Very first video.
Yep.
Let me just make sure that everyone can enjoy this. Let me make sure the chat is up there, you know. Actually, I had this originally planned to show you like after you came back from last week. But
yeah, because I saw that because I was wondering what was going on. I went and I looked on YouTube and I was like, oh, okay. I just couldn't rejoin it.
All right, not all witches wear pointy hats. I mean Wiccans. No, wait. I mean witches.
Hello, YouTube. My name is Logan, and wanted to talk about some of the videos I've seen out there, and people are discussing the differences between the words witchcraft and Wicca, and really kind of want to address it. I also would like to get this hat off. I usually don't wear hats. It's a little stuck on my head. Can't quite. I think it's because of this headset. Okay, this is really driving me nuts. Just it really driving me nuts. If I just loosen it up. Oh. God. Oh. A little head rush. Okay. It's not coming off. Okay, I'm gonna go to the doctor and get this thing removed from my head, and I'll come back and address the issue.
I was gonna say though, like the timestamp from that video, 8/26/2011. Damn, man.
I know, really.
You've been going at this for a long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I uploaded that video, and then it was a long time before I uploaded another one. It was like the very first one I put up, and it was when I had decided to actually, because I had, you create an account or you go around, you watch videos and stuff like that, but then I actually decided to upload a video, and so that was the very first one I did. But then I didn't like upload any more videos for a while, and then I uploaded another one because I got a lot of responses from people about it, and it was just a way of explaining the etymology of the word and how people differentiate between Wicca and witchcraft, which is okay. I understand the reason for it, but in reality it's not accurate. Wicca is witchcraft. Witchcraft is Wicca. It's just a different word for it.
Yeah.
And that's all I was trying to explain to people, but people took it so fucking personal. They're like, you don't understand. There's witchcraft practices besides Wicca. And I was like, yes, I know that. I'm not saying that Wicca owns the fucking word witch. I'm just simply saying the etymology of it, where it comes from.
Yeah.
And so anyhow, it was funny.
Well, I don't know. I thought that was a pretty good little final episode we did here for the next little while. So.
Yeah. So, well, we only have 5 people watching us now, but.
Well, there's also E3 going on right now too. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And Bethesda's just announcing stuff.
We will see you probably in September, maybe the middle of September.
Yeah. with a new format. Hopefully, we'll be getting your guys' input too. I might release a couple of videos throughout the summer asking people for some input here and there.
Okay.
Just so we can get a good grasp of what our audience wants. So.
Definitely sounds good.
Yeah. Well, let me just say good night from 2 separate accounts. Yeah, because right now E3 is going on, and apparently Bethesda just announced a new Skyrim game, or not Skyrim, new Elder Scrolls game. So there's no way we can. There's no way we can compete with E3.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
All right, there we go. All right, so Mr. Hellbound Heathen, it was good talking to you. Hopefully, this won't be the last time for a couple months. So.
Yeah, we'll just take a little break. But this was fantastic, Dorian, and I appreciate everything that you and Loki have done on this channel. I know it's you know, sometimes it's not always easy making Sundays available, and especially you. I know that you put a lot of work into it, like working with OBS, and I know getting all the sound to go right, and there's a lot that goes into it, and I really appreciate all your effort, you know, that you put into it, and I appreciate it.
Well, I feel really blessed that you guys brought me on. So.
Oh yeah, you're a great addition to the show. I'm very happy. I'm happy with the host. I'm just hoping that we can, you know, maybe just kind of. I think if we can work with the OBS, and we'll see what happens. I think maybe it's just good to take a little bit of a break, and then maybe we come back with a fresh new outlook.
All right. Well, sometimes shows do need a little quality break. Otherwise, we might start doing little what was it, like those old-fashioned 90s recap episodes and stuff like that. It's like, shit, we have nothing.
Right, exactly.
Let's just recap everything from before. So.
And I think people pick up on it too. Like if you're just kind of like going through the motions and doing this stuff, you know, people kind of pick up on it. You know, they know that you're not excited about it and into it. You know, well, I think maybe people are picking up on that a little bit.
Well, I'm just going to use like the expression, like the drunken peasants. When I watched them, they had 15,000 people watching them at a time, and now they're barely drawing in 900 people. So.
Well, I think because TJ left them.
Oh, that happened way before that, though, too. Even before TJ left, they were only getting around like 10,000 people.
So. Yeah, but they also had very lowbrow humor. I tried to watch them a couple of times, and it was just lowbrow humor, and I'm just not into that. So I never really watched them, you know?
Yeah. All right, everybody. It was good having you here.
All right. Good night, all.
Good night.